3, 2, and 1. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. What a special moment this is for Submission Radio history. Going live for the first ever watch along and meeting this man for the first time. Look at him right there, hat backwards, looking all young like his life is ahead of him. Bane Davis, man. Thanks for joining me here on Submission Radio. And we're going to crack it. We're going to get started on Ankalaev.
No time to waste.
We're here, baby.
Dude, we made it. We're going live early because we just didn't want to miss this light heavyweight fight of the year contender that's likely going to play out. No grappling. I can't see any grappling going on in this.
Yes. Well, I was going to say I prepared some cool little... What's this? No, that's not it.
Oh, beauty.
No, that's not it.
You already on 3? Oh, 5. All right.
All right, I didn't upload it, but here we go. Oh no, that's the wrong one too. All right, never mind. We'll see what pops up as we go. Guys, remember, the chat is your place to go. You can talk to us throughout the fights. We'll be watching them live, like we said, reactions. Bane, before we get into this, brother, what do you think? Do you believe Ankalaev gets this done and gets his title shot before this gets started? Or do you think plans change here, man? Rakic is a bad man, just like you. He's a bad man.
Well, he's better than me, I'll say that, and infinitely more skilled. But I do think that Rakic is being overlooked. Now, yes, he had a tough loss to Yuri Prochazka last time out. Injuries have plagued him in the last couple of years, but I think that he is just an edge better in the fight IQ conversation. Magomed Ankalaev forgot that he could grapple for 4 rounds against Jan Blachowicz. I mean, he could have the title at this moment in time, but that lapse in judgment, right, is just a sore stick in my side that makes it hard for me to really confidently pick him. So, yeah, he's like a minus 200 favorite. I'm going with Magomed Ankalaev, but don't be shocked if Rakic could get it done.
Dude, I wonder if Ankalaev wins it if he gets this title shot, right? By the way, everybody out there, cheers. It's 6 a.m. here. And let me see. Can I put my coffee counter on here?
There we go.
3, 2, 1, 5. Did I upload one? No.
Is the too much at 6? Is that when we know it's too much, or is that like 10 cups of coffee?
They're saying 6 or 6, Bane. Nah,
yeah.
Who knows, man? It's when I start shaking violently and vomiting. So that's something for everybody to look forward to. We got somebody asking who's fighting right now. So yeah, we are talking about the Rakic Ankalaev fight. Both fighters are walking into the octagon. It's interesting as well with Pereira and Ankalaev, right? It's like, is the organization, is it Pereira? I think it's the organization, man. Like if I'm talking honestly here, I gotta tell you, man, I don't, if Ankalaev wins here, I don't think a title shot is guaranteed. Like I think the UFC knows Alex is their moneymaker here. And I don't know, like if the guy says he wants, like if the guy wants to go to heavyweight and there's a big fight there for him, or if something else happens, I don't know. It's hard. You know, you got 309 around the corner. Who knows what's going to happen? Like, do you want him to lose to Ankalaev? Like, I think Ankalaev is a very tough fight for him. Right? What do you think? Do you think Ankalaev beats Pereira?
I don't know. That's the thing. Everyone talks about this hypothetical matchup like Ankalaev is going to steamroll him and he'll just take him down and have his way with him. But we have never seen that really happen to Alex Pereira. And yes, he hasn't fought the most elite grapplers, but Jan Blachowicz is a pretty damn good grappler and didn't have much success against Alex. So I don't know. I mean, I think if this matchup occurs, like, will there be a grappling upside? Sure. But is it going to be as pronounced as everybody likes to beef it up? I don't think so. I mean, look, Magomed Ankalaev has historically been weak to those calf kicks and those attacks downstairs. What is Alex Pereira fantastic at right from the beginning of the fight? Eliminating your appendages. So I don't know. I mean, people like to talk about the grappling of Magomed being such an X factor, but I think there are so many strengths that Alex Pereira has in that matchup that I'm not confident either way. But I agree. I think that if someone's going to get passed over with a win tonight, it'd probably be Magomed Ankalaev again.
Dude, the thing with Ankalaev here as well is it's just his time to deliver, right? Like we can't, like if he's got to go out there and he's going to put on a performance and say, hey, I'm the guy, I got to get this title shot, right? Because if this happens to be a fight that goes 3 rounds and he edges this one out and, you know, Rakic kind of wins around, like, you know what I mean? He's going to end up in a difficult position and it's not going to be a good one for him. And there's a lot of people at 205 that just keep putting him up against. It's like,
Yeah.
they'll just be like, yeah, we got a watcher from India. What's up, man? What's up,
Woo!
Australia? Hey, Bane,
What's
whereabouts
going
are you
on?
located in that
I
sex
am
dungeon of yours?
actually also in India. I'm in New Delhi right now. Been there for a couple years.
Hey,
No, I'm in
dude,
Phoenix.
Saman, go drop off to, no, okay.
Let's go
Phoenix,
hang out.
awesome. Let's go
Yeah.
hang out.
Hell
Go to
yeah.
his house. Go to his house. What's your address? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what's your social security number, dude?
What's your social security number, man? No. Welcome from India, guys. Yeah, it's great to be here. But yeah, man, Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix,
I know.
Arizona. You guys
It's
have
desert.
it's the desert. You guys had Stockton, right? You guys had Stockton that time. Is that right?
We Stockton, California?
No, didn't you guys have that basketball player, John Stockton or something?
I am
No.
very weak with
Okay,
my
okay, okay.
basketball knowledge. I
That's all
will
good. That's all good.
listen. The
You
Phoenix
guys had the
Suns,
Bella Twins. The Bella Twins used to live there. And
the
dude, you know,
WWE.
yeah, dude, you know what's
Yeah,
crazy?
okay.
So we've got the tail of the tape right here. Both guys are 32. Both guys, I feel like, for some reason, have been around for like a really long time. I don't know why. 32. But there you go. Both guys 32, both 6'3". This is an interesting matchup. I think Rakic is someone that people have kind of forgotten about Bane recently. This is a good fight for him right here.
If he wins, dude, the upside, the things that Alexander Rakic could gain, near unlimited, right? Because he is being overlooked and he has been plagued with injuries. But it's, what we see so often in the UFC. One big result against a credible name that unlocks a lot of doors. So we'll see.
For Rakic here, man, imagine he goes out and knocks out Ankalaev in the first round. Now that would be something incredible, right? That would get him right in there. And there's no way a Pereira would not want to fight him. I think the UFC books that fight right in the back as he gets in there, right?
I don't know, because I think even if Rakic is able to pull off this big upset, that would almost, to me, be even easier to pass over and let Alex Pereira do a big money fight at heavyweight, or a John Jones showdown if Jones can beat Stipe and wants to make some sort of a quick turnaround, which for Jones, non-existent. But I don't know. I think if Rakic wins, he's definitely going to need at least another top 5, top 7 opponent before we can talk about, title shot implications.
Very mature of you, Bane. I like it. We've got a weird spam link in the comment section. It's all happening. That means we're big. Jericho too. Is that the Chris Jericho from the WWE rooting for Rakic? Okay. It's interesting, man. I've seen a lot of Rakic supporters come out of the woodwork this week.
Really?
Like, I haven't had this kind of excitement for him in a long time. I think, and people like, hey, a Rakic Pereira fight sounds fun to us. And I think they're getting on board.
Yeah, he had a very fun fight against Yuri Prochazka. Like, that was entertaining, and it was back and forth. He had his moments. He cracked Yuri. It just didn't go his way. But I hate sounding like a broken record, but when you have these injuries and you're spending so much time on the shelf, this game is all about short-term memory. And unfortunately, Rakic has faded into obscurity, I'd say, relative to other guys at 205.
Dude, Rakic has come out here, and it's interesting. Ankalaev, pretty aggressive going forward, huh? Look at this. This is interesting from Ankalaev. It looks like Ankalaev here is, he's
There's some urgency.
He's looking to take the fight here. Are you a little bit surprised at the way Ankalaev is starting this one out, Bane? How did you think this? Yeah, how did you think this first round was going to go?
I thought that Magomed Ankalaev, and again, we're just in the first minute, but if I was him, I would grapple. I would test the wrestling and takedown defense of Rakic ASAP. Because I don't know, the more time you spend with a fresh Rakic is, probability of getting clipped. At 205, either of these guys could get knocked out with a single right hand.
We got a question from Mark Fellows, a friend of the show. Thanks for doing the watch along. Yeah, Bane, thanks for jumping on, brother. This is really fun, man. We've only just started, and the fun has just begun. And shout out to Mark there. Thanks for watching, dude. All right, interesting.
The cups of coffee have just been started to.
I know. I'm starting to get emotional. Hey, you got a bit of a Coke no sugar there as well, man. What is your consumption? What is your drink consumption plan for this one?
I think I'm sticking with the Coke Zeros. I'm going to try and stretch this one as long as humanly possible. But if I have to go reload, I will. If I had Dr. Pepper, that would be the choice. That's my toxic, my poison, if you will, Dennis.
All right. This is interesting right here. So Ankalaev just landed a beautiful jab. Did you see that? Oh, no, it was a right hand. Yeah, beautiful. It's interesting because a lot of people from Ankalaev's team keep talking about the fact that his striking is kind of much better than what people will know or allude to. And it looks like he's trying to sort of set a bit of a statement here against Rakic. Hasn't shot for a takedown or try to grab him at all here or try to work for a takedown just yet.
And who knows, right? Maybe that is game plan oriented, and he is just trying to say, hey, listen, my striking, my hands are as good as the takedowns in offensive wrestling. But again, that could be the fight IQ errors. You know, I don't think that when you're the number one contender, you want to be taking risk. Again, at the end of the day, winning is the most important thing. And while that's led to Ankalaev being...
God damn. Did you see that head kick? Woo! Rakic.
That's meat on it. What's your time? I'm at 2:16, 15. 14.
Yep, I'm 2:18, so I'm a few seconds behind you because I'm in another world. So you're going to be ahead of me with the reaction.
I'm in the future. I'm gonna pause it. Here we go. 2:10, 9,
2:10, yep,
8.
9, 8. Yep, that's where I'm at now. 7, 6.
Yeah, 5. I couldn't do that to you, Dennis. I can't be in the future on you.
Listen, man. Listen, brother. I'm in the future now. It's Sunday. So how about that? Sunday morning.
That is true. Gosh.
Yeah. You're on a Saturday night there. Dude, it's interesting. Rakic is keeping his distance well. It looks like he's really trying to time Ankalaev for a big shot as he's coming in. Is that what it looks like to you here? He's really trying to keep him in that distance striking range. And it looks like he's working for an up high shot or an up high kick, throwing a few lows to kind of set it up, it looks like.
Which might be smart. Bring Magomed Ankalaev into the pocket and then maybe play counter. The right hand has not been landing for Rakic. I don't know if it's a distance thing or just the defensive Magomed at this point is too good, but it just hasn't been effective with landing upstairs. But again, look at that. 12 of 12 on the leg kicks. I like that.
Interesting. Take the legs out. Harder to shoot. We've seen our friend Ilia really show people that those calf kicks and leg kicks can make a big difference. Interesting first round here, though, man. Ankalaev not looking bad at all. In the comment section, let us know who you think won the first round. I think Ankalaev here is getting it done. What do you think, Ben? I mean, Rakic has a lot of leg kicks, though. So, and it is 6 in the morning. So,
yeah.
And I don't know
that one.
I don't know who I am.
Your eyes might not be.
Little eyes. I got little squinty eyes. All right. Okay, this is interesting right here. With Rakic, I think it's interesting what you mentioned, man. Time away from the cage, the injuries, the ring rust, the fighting overseas. I mean, does it take a second for you to really... It looks like he's starting to really get his distance now. A couple of nice leg kicks there. Dude, that right hand from Ankalaev, though, that's got some steam behind it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and Rakic is, when he's retreating, it's, that was a bit of a destabilizing shot downstairs. I like that. The oblique kicks have such, and that wasn't necessarily an oblique kick, but like, it reminds me of the same effect when you kind of, boom, get that joint or that exact spot. I like those types of strikes. That's vicious. Dennis, I'm a fan of vicious fight styles.
All right, that was really good. While we take a break in between the thing, we'll bring in a little segment here. It's a sexy secret minute. Ben Davis tells, Ben, give us a sexy secret. What's something people don't know about you?
Something people do not know about me. So I'd say off the top of my dome, I'm actually a thespian, which some people might say, oh, you're one of those guys? No, I did theater growing up. So
really? What kind of plays did you do? For anyone tuning in, we're going into the second round here for the Ankalaev Rakic fight, and Ben Davis is telling us about a sexy secret. This is going to be a thing that happens throughout the day. Go on, Ben.
I'm giving you the tell-all on my high school musical and play experience. No, so I did things like Addams Family, Big Fish, some community plays as well. Avenue Q, which was a really fun one. From like middle school up until junior high school, was super into that creative side. And
porn, a lot of porn.
A lot of.
You look familiar. Look familiar, brother.
That's crazy that you're watching my videos. On the
listen. I don't call it porn. I don't call it gay porn. I call it porn. All right, guys. So let's get back into it. So we're going into round 2. I've done some acting myself before, but we'll save that for another sexy minute. Brought to you by Manscaped. 20% off with the code word submission. All right. So Ankalaev is back here. What do you think the corner said to Rakic here in between rounds? Did they want a bit more activity from him now that we're going into the second? Whoa!
That was an interesting.
You
saw Shara bullet. Yeah. I think if I'm in Rakic's corner, I'd say, hey, let's maybe put the pressure on him. Let's maybe take this center and put him on the back foot because he's spending so much time circling out and moving on the back foot that, again, if this hits the scorecards, that's going to play big in the judges' perspectives and opinions. So,
yeah, especially over there, man.
yeah.
A lot of yeah, a lot of it's interesting though. A lot of people giving that first round to it's very split. Some people giving it to Ankalaev, some people giving it to Rakic. So this is an important round. Dude, some of the head kicks thrown here by both Rakic and Ankalaev have been very impressive for
They have
these
been.
light heavyweight guys. Like very nice kicks. Any one of those land and you're all done. And it's interesting, man. Rakic is just happy to accept this back foot. Let me counter this guy. Let me find the counter shot and put him out. Roll, isn't he? He's still going off that back foot.
Which I don't know is going to be the best plan as the fight plays out. I mean, I think that he'd go from A to B and maybe, again, put pressure. They showed that Jimmy Manawa knockout in the highlights. That's him blitzing in, pushing,
yeah.
and pressuring. Like, I think if you give a couple sequences like that to Ankalaev, it's A, going to make him think a lot more, and B, open it up. Like, again, on the back foot, he's just retreating, chin up in the air, and Ank's tagging him and being the last one. So I don't love this approach.
The problem with going to the back foot, people don't understand is you give sometimes the guys that you're fighting too much momentum. And when the guys find momentum, they find confidence. And someone like Ankalaev, you don't want to give him confidence in his striking. Like you want to go out there and set the domination from the beginning and be like, hey, I'm better at this than you. Because as you know, man, you fought a number of times. If you lose that confidence or you find that confidence, that's a game changer. And right now I see a very confident Ankalaev moving forward, thinking, you know what? I'm just going to win this thing moving forward and throwing shots at this guy. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even need to take this guy down. And that's what's happening. That's what we're watching.
And maybe, like you said earlier, maybe that is the statement. He's trying to tell the Brass or Alex Pereira, listen, I'm not going to just go out there and grapple fuck you. I will stand and trade. And I think he's even gone on record saying he will strike with Alex Pereira, which I don't think is a good strategy.
Like, we don't know who was tweeting that, but it was on record. And Ali Abdelaziz, he came on the show, man. He came on the show and he said that the same thing. And actually, Ankalaev came on the show. That was a fun 5 a.m. interview and said that as well. So who knows? Who knows what's really happening here?
Now 2 minutes left in round 2. Ank is picking up. I think the pressure's starting to get to Rakic a little bit. And like you talked about momentum, there's no momentum on Rakic's side. He's fighting this uphill battle 100% of this fight, which is unnecessary. I think there are ways for him to pivot off or take the center or push Ankalaev back. So
yeah, it's interesting as well because I think Rakic is also finding himself in a situation where he hasn't found the counter, but now this is tiring stuff. Like, you know this better than a lot of people watching in the comment section. I know this. And I've you fought Oscar Willis. I've sparred Oscar Willis. And when that guy moves forward on you and you're on your back foot, it's tiring. And I've been on the back foot against a few big dogs like that. Never easy, man. Never easy. And a lot more tiring. Okay, look, this is what's happening right here. We've got our first grappling situation here. This is going to be interesting. Let's see how Rakic does. We got Ankalaev. He's got him up against the fence. We've got a whole minute here, man.
Yeah. And he had double unders. Now he's just kind of isolating with the
underhook. Oh, Rakic. Look at this. Guts out. Very nice.
God, and then gets cracked.
Yeah, this is like so Rakic has been getting ready for the grappling, but maybe forgot a little bit about the striking here. Yeah, man, Ankalaev, I think he's got the second round, right? So far, I mean, agree. 39 seconds to go.
This has been, I would say, a little bit more of a clear round. It's still competitive for sure, but I just don't understand how anyone could give Rakic 10-9 in round 2 at this moment. Still 20. Dennis, there's still 20 seconds. Rakic could nuke him with a head kick right now.
It's true, man. It's true. And, it's interesting. There it is. There it was. There it was. There it was. We'll get to some of your questions in a sec, guys. Just throw them in the comment section below. But going forward here, man, I'm seeing Ankalaev move forward. I'm seeing him take the second round. I think that first one maybe could be close, depending on how you look at the kind of shots that were landed. I guess Rakic had a lot of leg shots. But I will tell you, just watching this at 6 a.m. and knowing the judges over there, I think they really like the momentum, the guy moving forward over there. And I think the perception is key over there. All right, let's have a look over here. Paul Podge, man. Let's go. Submission Radio streaming. That's right. Big thanks to Ben Davis. Make sure to follow him, by the way. If you guys haven't, Ben Davis is the man. A lot of respect for you, Ben, man. You work really hard, and that's why I really wanted to get you on the show. You've been killing it, brother. Mark Fellas, okay. Have I booked my flight to Sydney yet? Yeah. Casper's going to be coming back to Sydney, guys. So I know everybody's been really excited for Casper to come back. We'll be going over in Sydney. We'll be covering UFC 312 live. We'll be doing some interviews and stuff. I'm really looking forward to getting the crew back together. All the boys, Jose, Oscar, Mike, and all those stuff. So check that out. That's going to be 312. And then, yeah, Bane, hopefully we do a live show one day together too, like some live coverage. Dude, I'd love to spend a week with you and have some fun.
It shall happen. This too shall happen.
Much respect, Bane, for your fight. Yeah, man. You and Oscar, dude. You guys put on my favorite fight at BKFC. The fact that you got up that many times, the heart that you showed, man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, dude. You're an absolute beast. And
after the third knockdown, I was very close to just being like, fuck this, dude. This is just not going well. But I was like, no, I'll just keep trying. Maybe he'll get tired.
I reckon what you did is so incredible, man. You should be really proud of yourself.
I appreciate that.
And Ben's beautiful face was recovered flawlessly. Hey, man, his face is always beautiful to us, brother. All right, we're getting back into the fight. Questions in the comment section. We'll keep going as we go along. All right, dude, I think over here, and I'd be happy to bet this, Rakic's corner has said, dude, if you don't turn up here and you don't win this round and like actually probably finish, Ankalaev, you're done here. And I'm seeing more urgency from Rakic as we go out here. He's not as willing to accept to take the back foot. He's trying to move forward and he's circling, which for people at home that don't understand, if you are struggling with a guy that's moving forward, you make sure you circle and then you move forward. You make sure you don't move back. A lot of fighters, there's a lot of great fighters out there, guys like Izzy, guys like all sorts of fighters, but there's not that many guys that are really good at fighting off their back foot. And if you're not Izzy or like a Stephen Thompson, that's not a game plan that's going to work out for you. The interesting thing here, though, is Ankalaev is refusing to move backwards. He's now cutting Rakic off once again, and we're seeing him start to dominate all over again. I think for Rakic right here, if he doesn't establish some kind of dominance, look at that. If he doesn't establish some kind of dominance, this is it.
It's been the same sequence the entirety of the fight. Rakic on the back foot, Magomed tossing some combos, and Rakic failing to respond or adapt. There's been no adapting from Rakic over the last 12 minutes, which is it's a little bit surprising to me, you know? And yes, like you mentioned, maybe he was preparing for the grappling. And so this is kind of a curveball and he's like, shit, I'm trying to improvise on the fly. But I don't know, man. What is Rakic waiting for? What was the game plan? Now the leg kicks are good and he's been going to them frequently, but they're not working. So how can you change? What are you going to adjust? You got 3 minutes. You have to finish this guy.
Dude, this is a huge opportunity for Rakic here. This is the other thing, man. Look, Ankalaev, he's looking good. His striking's looking good. But is this a fight that guarantees him 100% so far a title shot? That was a good right hand, by the way, by Rakic. I mean, he's trying to turn it up. It's not a statement. If this goes to a decision, this isn't a statement, right, Ben?
Not at all. Not at all, especially with how flat Rakic's performance has been. I think the court of public opinion is going to say, Magomed, this guy was just doing the same thing over and over. How could you not stop him? Or honestly, people might criticize the lack of. There's a takedown from Rakic.
Oh my God. All right. This might be the most exciting thing of the fight. Rakic gets fed up. Jericho too. Ankalaev said he needed an exciting fight to get the title shot. I don't think this is it. We agree with you, man. And for Rakic, I don't know if this is a good idea. Dude, you're probably not taking Ankalaev down. You're getting exhausted here. And this is you're just going to stall yourself into a decision loss.
Yeah,
if you're lucky, if you're lucky, I think Ankalaev is going for a nick here.
Which would be great to see. I don't think he has searched for the stoppage necessarily. And I'd say it's ill-advised to do that. I mean, if you go into a fight thinking, I'm going to knock him out, I want to knock him out, that's all I'm looking for, that might not work out. But when you've dominated, when you have beaten this guy up for 2 rounds, look for the stoppage, look for the fight-ending sequence, push that extra level. And I'm just not seeing that from Ankalaev, which, yeah, like you mentioned, is this going to earn him a title shot?
No. I'm gonna go at it a little bit. I don't think this is gonna get it done, man. The other thing as well is I don't think the UFC or Dana White want a fight where it's like what's happening right now, where it's like kind of like a stall-based grappling back and forth. I think that's their biggest nightmare for a Pereira fight. Like,
Oh my
you know
God,
what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah,
And
they hate that stuff. Okay, so
I'll say
Ankalaev has now put Rakic up against the fence, and Rakic is like, man, that was a bad idea. And I've got
and look at this.
45 seconds now, and I cannot get out of this terrible position.
And
Look at
Magomed's
this.
just holding him. This is, just some stalling from Ankalaev. And to close out the third round like this, I don't want to say it's disappointing because that's extreme, and I hate being so extremely negative or mean on those types of things. But listen, the guy said he wanted an entertaining fight. This was not it.
Yeah, this is not it right at all. Man, I feel bad for Rakic here. Terrible. The game plan wasn't right, and yeah, 10 seconds
Yeah.
left, and Ankalaev about to get this done.
But like you mentioned, this is the cost of shooting for dumb takedowns. 2 minutes left in a fight where you need a knockout or a submission. You know what I mean? There's no upside to doing that because then you just get locked against the cage, clinching with a guy who's better at you than clinching. What did you achieve? Nothing.
Nothing. Man, it's a shame. I think Rakic really kind of never really got going here. He never was able to take his shots. I mean, he threw that nice leg kick there that, man, Ankalaev is tough as hell. Wearing that on your arm, that goes right through your head. But he just couldn't get going. And now it's the end of the fight and he's done. What is there anything that impressed you from Ankalaev? We saw some, he moved forward. He did throw some good shots. Anything that you liked,
Yeah.
Ben?
I like the striking. I mean, he is incrementally improving each time out. I love the fact that he's added more depth to his offensive arsenal. But I once again just think to myself, the fight IQ, right? We look at some of the greatest fighters of all time, and what is the marquee characteristic? It's intelligence. Demetrius Johnson, Volkanovski. These guys fight smart. Ankalaev in that final 2-minute stretch was just holding him, controlling him. Rakic couldn't get anywhere. So for me, I look at it and go, why didn't you put him there earlier in the fight? Why would you even entertain these types of striking matchups where you're risking getting knocked out by a heavy power puncher at 205, right? I think Ankalaev could have made this a lot easier for himself. But again, it was good. The striking looked good, but what a flat performance from Rakic.
So here we go. We're going into the decision here, man. Rakic looks gutted. Again, terrible decision deciding to try and grapple at the end. Yeah. People in the comment section saying Ankalaev could have gone harder. I don't know, man. I think Ankalaev was trying to get some stuff done. Post-fight interview here. Let's see. What's he going to say? Title shot, you reckon? I can't get the captions going. Do you have the captions on yours?
Let me see. He said it was hard for him to catch him.
Interesting highlights they're showing here. That was a good right hand. This is the thing. It's nice to show these highlights, but if you're putting a guy up against Pereira, this isn't the kind of stuff that's going to get people across the line for the fight,
Not at all. Now, again, like who is
It's like putting up, it's putting up like a solid, like someone that can do some solid, decent wrestling, and then showing it before a fight with Khabib. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, brother.
Okay, so what would be next? So he's currently the #1 contender. I know Jan Blachowicz is ranked 4th right now. Yuri and Jamal, I think, are tied up. I assume that'll be announced in the next couple weeks. Nikita Krylov, I don't know if Nikita's booked. But then it's kind of like the conversation of, I don't know about you. I have this battle internally where I like to look at the UFC as a meritocracy and a sport. But again, instances like this, I think that's very difficult kind of to do because I'm like, this guy is the #1 contender. He just defended that status. But fuck me, I don't want to drop $80 to watch him fight again.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and you're not in a position really. Yeah, Mark Fellas, that should earn Ankalaev a fight against another rank contender. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, look, how about this, Ben? Let's say Pereira goes out there and loses against Ankalaev. I had this conversation, I think maybe last week with a couple of people on the show. How much does it hurt him if he's to move into another division? Like, he's lost to Izzy before. He's gone out and he got knocked out against Izzy before. Then he went to light heavyweight. We've kind of forgotten a lot about that. What if he goes out against Ankalaev and gets submitted? Does he lose that much steam, or can he go up to heavyweight afterwards? How much does he lose? What do you think?
I think it's difficult because he has looked outside of that instance where Adesanya was able to flatline him pretty impervious. I think Alex Pereira has this sense of invincibility about him at 205. And if that bubble gets burst, I do think that affects the bottom line significantly. And again, you think, okay, if Ankalaev is the champion, well, his title-winning performance is a conversation, but his reign itself, that's a whole other discussion as well. Because, again, who is signing up to watch this guy headline pay-per-views, especially when he's, beaten guys in the top 5, top 10? Do we run boring rematches? Is that what we sign up for and try to sell to consumers? I don't think so. So, yeah, for me, I do think there is a lot of risk associated. And if Alex Pereira is stopped by Magomed Ankalaev, I think it'd be more of a deflating result than a boost for Ankalaev.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. All right, we're going to go into one of the big fights here. Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. I'll get you guys to give us your predictions in the comment section. Let's get into it a little bit, man. We got Mark Fellows predicting a TKO round 3. Wow, that would be incredible for Robert Whittaker. Ben, how do you think this fight goes? What is your prediction here?
So for me, it's very interesting because Whittaker is the toughest test by a mile, I will say, that Chimaev is going to come up against. And for me, I haven't been super blown away by Khamzat Chimaev, at least as he's progressing through the rankings. Man, talk about a hot start to his UFC career. And I was bought in. I could see the potential. But as time has progressed and as we've had fight cancellation and pullouts and, concerns over health, and then you juxtapose it with good results and wins, but maybe not the most convincing performances or the dominations that Chimaev likes to tout himself up as. So for me, I just think that, Chimaev is fantastic, but this has got the Reaper written all over it. I know we're on Submission Radio, and this is obviously, he's one of the main guys from that side of the world. But I do think that without any bias or anything, that Robert Whittaker should handle this. But Khamzat is dangerous early. That is something that exists.
Mark Fellows saying Ben Davis is wide beyond his years. He is, man. He is. We've got a Chimaev decision prediction here. You know what's interesting? Casper and I, the first person we ever interviewed, I think this was like 10 years ago when we first started doing this, maybe even more now, was Robert Whittaker, man, when he was a welterweight. So we've had a great relationship for a really long time. What people don't know about it, quick story, is I went over to Sydney for this training camp and watched him spar Jai Optai, who people might not know, but he's probably one of the best boxers to come out of Australia. He was over in Ryder City season. He's the IBF cruiserweight champion. He's unbelievable. And he went 3 tough rounds with Jai Optai. This is a guy that's always looking to fight the best of the best. He was supposed to be on the Australian Commonwealth wrestling team at one point. People don't know that either. So when it comes to the domination in the grappling, I don't think people understand. Like, Rob is actually a very good defensive grappler if he needs to be. We've got a prediction: Rob by KO late in the 5th. The only thing with Rob, and Ben, I think you'll agree with me here, is he's a notoriously slow starter. Those first rounds for Rob, we've seen him get caught a number of times. And what is Khamzat good at? The first round. So my prediction is that Rob will beat Khamzat. I think he gets it done, in the 3rd or 4th round. I think Khamzat hasn't looked great, man. That weight cut didn't look legit. But if he's got to survive that first round, right? It's going to be that first round that he needs to survive.
And people like to talk about how Whittaker does get cracked and does get hurt, but the recoverability is the immediate thing that my mind jumps to, because in every instance, he gets back up and has his wits about him, and it doesn't look like there's such a negative impact. When Paulo Costa had that amazing kick on him, the second round, there was no real lasting damage. When maybe Adesanya, right, in that first fight dropped him. That second round, Robert came out there and looked like he had everything about him, up until that stoppage. So I think people like to talk about Rob getting cracked, but they fail to mention that he recovers beautifully. And a guy like Chimaev, there is a timer on that gas tank. We have seen the stamina expire. And I just don't believe that, like you sort of mentioned, in rounds 3 and 4, he is going to have enough energy to keep Robert Whittaker off of him. So let's see.
Yeah, interesting as well. I know, like, last few Rob performances, we knew in his last fight he had that thing with his head, so he wasn't 100% there. The DDP fight, he was not 100% for that fight. He had like a bad knee, a terrible training camp. People like, obviously DDP did a great job at putting him out, but man, people don't realize Robert Whittaker, he's fought a ton with really, really bad injuries. There was a period there where he had to pull out of a lot of fights, and then people are like, why is he why is he fighting
why is he pulling out? Yeah.
Why is he pulling out? And now they're like, why is he fighting hurt? And the fact is, man, this is a guy towards the end of his career. He said he wants to retire in the next couple of years, and he needs the money. He needs to make the money now. So is he 100% going into this fight? Probably not. So, but dude, I gotta ask you as well, Ben, just quickly, and we've got some nice comments. Yo, the legend Ben himself. Yes. Khamzat is next. Fight hasn't started. That's right. We're going to chuck up the rounds as they go. I have some graphics prepared, guys. Don't worry. This is elite level stuff. Just quickly though, the Khamzat we saw this week spoke about depression, spoke about his kids. One of his kids needing surgery, was like so different, like a completely different dude. What is your perception of this version? We saw a little bit of it at the press conference where we got annoyed Nick Cody, the comedian from Australia. But what is your perception of this version of Khamzat? Some people are saying, okay, this is a different guy. Other people are saying, look, he's just human. It's not going to affect what kind of Khamzat we see out in that octagon.
I would almost disagree with that and say, yes, this could absolutely weigh in on his performance and influence it either positively or negatively. When you are dealing with things mentally and there is a weight on your shoulders outside of the cage, that can either create an amazing performance where you have all of this motivation and ambition and hunger, or it can break you and there's distractions and you're not able to focus. And maybe the training camp is, you're not doing as many reps as you need to because you got to stop, and it's not a good place to be in. A negative mindset can absolutely destroy you before the fight's even started. I think that this is, though, a very authentic version of Khamzat Chimaev. And that's what I'd like to kind of conclude on is at the beginning of his career, we got this inflated superhero almost persona where he's getting on the mic saying he's going to kill everybody. And I don't think that was authentically Khamzat Chimaev. I think that was Chimaev thinking, how can I market? How can I promote myself the best? And boy, did he do a great job of that. But now we're a little bit deeper into the UFC tenure. He's had so many struggles outside the octagon that we're peeling back layers. We're peeling back layers. I think this is a genuine Khamzat Chimaev, for better or worse.
I was going to say, man, he almost just ran into the camera guy. So maybe he is back. Well, but that was a good statement. Somebody asking where Casper is, guys. Casper will be back in February for the live coverage. And he's actually over in Japan and Korea at the moment with his partner, Hamid. I hope they're having a great time. It was actually his birthday. So happy birthday, man. I can't wait to celebrate when you come back. Yeah, so the fight is about to start. We're getting geared up. I want to get my little graphic up around.
While you're getting that up, I want to toss you a question. When you, again, heard about the Whittaker DDP training camp and the complications, how did you feel about the performance? Did you think that's what, sort of is going to happen with the complications of the training camp? Or did you think it was better or worse, maybe than your expectation?
The DDP Rob Whittaker one?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I was surprised, honestly. I think Rob is one of the best middleweights that the UFC has ever seen. I think anybody that can beat him set an absolute standard. And to be honest with you, I didn't think DDP was going to be able to do what he did to Rob. Like, DDP has absolutely surprised me. When I saw, so me and Casper were live for the DDP Israel fight, just in Perth. We were sitting cage side for that one for the first time in a long time. And we watched that. And man, I couldn't believe what DDP was able to do against Izzy. People did not understand watching on TV what level of Israel Adesanya we saw. Like Israel was like at another level. Physically, he looked different, but he was fighting so well. And DDP found a way to win. I haven't sort of picked against a guy as much as DDP. Last time, the last time I did that was like Conor McGregor. Remember when Conor McGregor used to fight everyone, and you'd be like, Conor McGregor versus Dennis Siver? There's no way he's going to beat Dennis Siver. He kicks people in the stomach. Remember that? Remember that? And then it's like, Aldo, don't tell me anybody on this feed was predicting McGregor to beat Aldo. Come on, man. And then, man, me and Casper were there against Eddie Alvarez. And again, people don't remember Eddie Alvarez at the level of when he was champ. Robert Whittaker's coming out here. I love the intensity, by the way, that he brings with him into his fights. Anyway, and yeah, and people weren't really picking for Conor McGregor there. So a lot of the Conor McGregor wins, people were kind of picking against Conor, and a lot of the DDP stuff, people were picking against DDP. I will say right now, though, even though that Strickland fight was close, I do think he'll beat Strickland in a rematch next. But yeah, it's I struggled to pick against Rob in that one. Fun fact about Rob. So the guy's from New Zealand, where my partner's from, and my son is half Maori. I believe Rob's half Maori too. But the funny thing is, if you interview Rob during fight week, that intensity is what you get during an interview. So like, have you interviewed him before, Ben?
I've never had the chance to. No.
Okay. Well, he's walked out. He's focused. That's right. He's walked out focused. The focus is there. Mark Fellows, need to calm the nerves, but it's 7 a.m. That's right. 7 a.m. here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Geez, you guys are up early. Thanks for joining us. Okay. No, that's not it. Okay. So, dude,
but the intensity,
intensity, he makes you pay. He makes you pay for if you ask a question wrong and stuff like that. Like, he's dialed in. And the Robert Whittaker that you see at the weigh-ins, the Robert Whittaker that you see at the stare down, I think that is what he has to do. That is what he has to do to be the Robert Whittaker that we know and love. I'll send him a text here and there. You get the loveliest texts back. But you interview him going into a fight or something like that. Like, he's just focused on the fight. He does not want to be there. And, I don't blame him for it. But yeah, he is a one-of-a-kind guy. One of the funniest guys, one of the scariest guys, one of the most interesting guys. Tough background, grew up in commission housing, which is kind of like the community housing over there in Phoenix, man, where families doing a tough grow up. Got his family out of that house, adopted a bunch of kids, has his own kids, a lot of struggles here and there throughout his career. So people don't realize it, man. This guy has been through it all, seen it all.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Done it all. And now here he is, man, trying to get another title shot. Another title shot. Isn't it crazy? Hey,
wild.
Before we go into the fight, and by the way, round one is about to start. Who do you think should get the next title shot? Honestly, do you think it should be the winner here? Like, if one of the guys goes out here and just puts on a show, puts the other guy out early, or dominates, do you want to see that person get the next title shot? Do you still think it should be Sean Strickland?
So I don't think, regardless of whatever occurs tonight, Sean Strickland should get the title shot. That's a perspective I've maintained. I don't understand how he can just sit on the sidelines, not beat a top 5 contender, and get gifted this opportunity. I have always been curious and fucking confused by that perspective from him, where he's like, no, I don't even want to earn this title shot.
Like, he could have been fighting Rob. He could have.
Yeah,
I know that it's like, well, I don't want to fight Robert Whittaker because that's a tough fight. Sean, that's not what got you to the dance, brother. Like, go out there, like, fight Rob. Like, I think he was just like, I'm not going to do it. But I think that's a huge mistake on his part, right? Like,
it is, and it's very counter to who Sean Strickland was, like you mentioned, on the come-up. That was a guy who at one point was Mr. Apex. He would always just fill in down the street from his house in Vegas and fight anybody and everybody, and it was successful. And I think it gained so much popularity with the fans because they appreciated that type of, I don't care, I'm just going to go fight. Think of Kevin Holland in 2020 when he fought 5 different times. I mean, that was the big boom for him in his career. And so for Sean Strickland to now, after tasting the belt, losing a close fight, sort of go, no, I'm entitled to this title shot now. And nothing else anyone says or does matters. Meanwhile, Whittaker is beating top 10, top 15 guys, going in there, accepting fights against people. And, I think the Strickland fight against Costa was stupid because guess what? Robert Whittaker beat him 4 months prior. So it's like, Strickland. You're not fighting the right guys, and
that's what got you. That's what got you to the dance, brother. We got artificial asking you guys think KHAMZAT'S ready. Look, he's looking amped up in that octagon, but like, look at Robert Whittaker here, man. When
Yeah.
he says he's going into the octagon and he's going to try and take someone's soul, like that is what he's doing. That is what he's doing. I've seen this look a number of times. When I went to watch him spar the world champ boxer here in Sydney, he was coming out of the bathroom. He had that look on his face. And I was like, hey, Rob, how you going? He's like, hey, hey, hey. Like, just like, dude, get the hell out of my way. I want to kill this boxer guy. So like, that is Rob to a T. He gets into these crazy modes. With Khamzat, I don't know. He looks like he's getting to the middle of that octagon, but here we go, man. This is going to be crazy. What is your prediction here? Is Khamzat just going berserker here? You just
I
going
think
balls to the wall?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna see the takedown, a lot of volume in the striking. I think he's gonna throw a ton into these first 5 minutes, and if Whittaker can survive it, then I think it's gonna go very badly for Khamzat Chimaev as the fight progresses.
One of the most interesting things about Whittaker as the fight starts, we've got 4 minutes and 49 seconds on the clock here, is his striking style. Here we go. Shoots in. Dives right for the legs. You got that right, Paul. Look at this.
Yeah. Already
boy.
on the back. This is what he did to Kamaru Usman, right?
Okay,
He
so this is incredibly
overwhelmed him.
impressive. Incredibly impressive. He's in a great dominant position here. Let's see how Rob handles this. You got to fight the hands here. One of the big problems that we've seen in the past is people try to base out on both hands to get up, and that's when that choke gets locked in. So he's fighting the hands here. At the same time, you got to get out of that hook. So,
and look at the posture. I mean, where Khamzat Chimaev's keeping his head, keeping his balance and weight on top of Whittaker. He's talented. The guy is a phenomenal grappler.
To do this to Robert Whittaker, you do have to be the best grappler in the division. Okay, so Rob is still struggling here, man. Khamzat is in a very dominant spot. He could finish it with just a couple of moves if Rob makes the wrong move here. Yeah. He's trying to get up. He kind of held onto the cage there, but let's not focus on that.
You get a couple free ones. We know this.
You get a couple of free ones. Yeah, Bobby Knuckles, come on, man. He's got a great t-shirt, by the way, with Full Violence. Shout out to those guys. All right, so for Rob here, you got to be thinking, dude, what the hell, right? Like the mindset here is, I got to get out. I
think he's being patient, though. Come on, this was the expectation. I'm sure Rob was like, okay, this is going exactly how we prepped, planned, and envisioned this fight. He's going to come on very strong, and he is.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay.
This is not... Ooh.
Yeah. Khamzat is now trying to control one of the wrists. Nah, he's going back. So, yeah, you're right, man. Rob has a lot of championship experience. So he is trying to stay calm here. You got to fight the hands here, though, Rob. You got to fight the hands here, brother. So he's all right, he's out. He's out, guys. He's out. No, he's
What's your time at right now?
I'm at 2:49. What about you, Ben?
2:41. I'm going to pause it.
2:41 now.
Beauty.
All right.
But look at that from Chimaev. I mean, just immediately back in. I respect his tenacity with the grappling. He just doesn't give you time to think.
Chimaev here, though, is he being busy? I feel like he's almost being like he's not expanding too much energy at all. No. Like going into round 2, he's going to be fresh, man. He's controlled Rob. Rob must be getting pretty tired here. Like he's riding his back. He's threatening with stuff. 2 minutes and 14 seconds to go. He's got that choke over the chin. Rob's got to be careful not to let him put that choke over his chin. I know a lot of people just hang in there when that happens, but I wouldn't trust Khamzat to just crunch your jaw like, Rob's turned. Okay. But now he's given a mount. Oh, no. He's on his back. Oh,
and we reset to the same position. Chimaev's had him here for 3.5 minutes now. But again, Robert's surviving.
Robert is surviving.
Wait, so he's only been submitted once. That was... When the fuck was Whittaker?
That was
2011. Yeah, Hoon Kim. Back at Legend FC.
Whom Kim, indeed, huh? Whom is he?
Who is Hoon?
Whom Kim, unsubscribing from Submission Radio. He just finished him? He just finished him.
What happened? Oh, boy.
Dude, he locked in the rear naked and Rob tapped. He locked it over his face. He locked it over
kind of like a crank?
It was like a crank. That's the thing. I was just saying it. You can't let him lock it in over your face because those grapplers, man, when you go with them. All right, guys, this is unbelievable. If you're tuning in right now, Ben Davis and Dennis Karatov here on Submission Radio Live, UFC 308, 6 a.m. reaction. And Khamzat Chimaev has just done the impossible and submitted Robert Whittaker in the first round, UFC 308. Unbelievable. People in this comment section can't believe it. And if you're watching this later on because it's so early in the morning and wanting to see our reaction, dude,
wow,
Ben, what's just happened, brother? What do you think? Initial reaction to this. Unbelievable.
Chimaev did what he does, right? The first round is incredibly difficult to survive in. And yeah, I mean, that is just vicious. I'm watching the replay right now. God.
This is unbelievable. So not only did Khamzat show a level of maturity, I think, here and skill that he hasn't shown previously in any of his fights, in my opinion, but the fact that he was able to do that to Robert Whittaker, someone who the Israels, the guys that have beaten him, guys like Israel, guys like DDP, they weren't able to do stuff like that. This is some unbelievable stuff. I can't believe it.
That was domination. That he completely dominated him. There was nothing that Whittaker did in that fight that gave Chimaev any problems. He survived, scrambled effectively, but even when he had those moments of separation, Chimaev just went back in on the grappling. And like you said, he wasn't really committing to too many submissions. He wasn't really blowing the cardio. And the one time that he really looked for it, got it instantly, which is wow.
Dude, Khamzat Chimaev over here with the John Wick moment. You're asking me if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. Right? This man is back. This man is. Yeah. This is. I'm shocked, dude. I'm absolutely shocked. I know we thought Khamzat maybe in the first round. Look at that ranking as well, 13.
That's crazy.
That is not a 13th ranked man right there, man. That is not a 13th ranked there.
And again, we were talking about it before the fight. Title shot implications. What will this affect the grand picture of middleweight? If Chimaev got a shot off of that, would I be mad? No, not at all.
Dude. All right, you can't not give this guy the next title shot, man. You can't. The history that he has. What's he saying over here to DC? Let's have a look. He wants the belt, he's saying?
Yeah.
A lot of respect to Rob, which you love to see. The guy's a legend. No one wanted to fight him, but Rob was the guy, he's saying. DC looking like he's parking people's cars here in that jacket.
On double duty in between fights when he's not doing the broadcast. He just goes.
I love DC, but are you surprised? Come on, DC.
Dude, him on the weigh-in show is a trip. He is the pound for pound goat of entertainment on the weigh-in show. Rob tapped. Oh. Yeah, what do you think about that stoppage? At the speed at which he was able to lock that in?
Dude, yeah, he's getting the belt. I don't know what people are thinking, but there's no way. The only thing is this travel issue. Yeah, dude, what I think about it is it's what you and me were talking about it. Remember I said you can't let this guy put it lock-in over your face because of the crank. You're like, oh, you mean like some kind of like crank thing? Yeah, I'm terrible martial artist. I've done jiu-jitsu for like whatever 10 years as a white belt or whatever. But what I will tell you is when you go in with guys like a Khamzat with that kind of strength, if they lock in a choke, and you know this, Ben, man, you've been in your training camps for your fight. You ever had that choke put in over your face where you feel like your cheekbones are about to explode into the back of your skull?
Absolutely.
Those guys, yeah. And how they do it is, I mean, they have incredible strength. They've been doing it their whole life, but also what you do is you use your wrist when you put that in, and you kind of, you use your back when you do it. And there is nothing worse or more painful than that. The way that Rob tapped, I think it shows us this man is, I mean, what? Like the best grappler? Like he has to be one of the most dangerous grapplers in the middleweight division for sure.
It is insane at how quickly and easily that Chimaev was able to get Rob in those spots. Again, you think about Derek Brunson, you think about Kelvin Gastelum, who's a pretty decorated wrestler in his own right.
Yoel Romero?
Yoel Romero, yeah. Gosh. Dude, what do you think would be next for... Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say just quickly, the only person that kind of reminds me of it a little bit is DDP, because you know when he gets you back and he just jumps on and puts that rear naked in, like the way that he did
Yeah.
to Izzy. That guy is one of those like strong grapplers as well. So I think that's why this matchup's great. And also, what I love about this matchup is they have a lot of heat already. Look at that, Steve Harvey in the house.
Steve
Sergio
Harvey's
Ramos.
there?
I don't watch. I don't know who this guy is.
I
Alex
don't know who's
Volkanovski. Alex Volkanovski. And Ash over there, the man behind Engage. He's done an incredible job with AP management. Sorry, what were you going to ask me, Ben?
No, I was going to ask in terms of what you think might be next for Robert Whittaker. You know, he was on a 2-fight win streak over top 15 names and not the results he wanted. But do you think there is still juice left in the
Dude,
in
I
the
think
space?
honestly, Robert Whittaker is one of those guys who, for Australia, is a huge, huge name, and they need
Yeah.
a guy like that down here. I mean, we've got that card in February, 312. I think everybody should jump on board with me and ask for him to be on that card. And what I'm about to say is a little bit, dangerous, but I will say this though, man. And by the way, everybody tuning in, Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria, one of the best fights of the year coming up soon. So stay tuned as me and Ben react to the craziness of Khamzat Chimaev taking out Robert Whittaker at that kind of capacity. But what I will say is, if Sean Strickland isn't getting this title shot, and I love Sean Strickland and I love Eric and I love the whole team, I wouldn't mind seeing Sean and Rob meet each
Yeah.
other. You know, I think that's a great fight. Rob is fresh. You know, he's undamaged. He tapped to that shot. He'd be ready to go back into a training camp. I'd love to see him against someone like Sean. But if you're not putting him up against Sean, maybe put him up against a couple other guys in the division who aren't maybe, world beaters. The problem with Robert Whittaker is the guy's been fighting the best of the best for a really long time. We don't get to see him have a showcase fight. Maybe it's time for a showcase fight. What do you think, Ben? Like, there are so many guys. Let me have a look at the UFC rankings here. Let's book this thing on the fly. I'll
So
share my screen in just a second.
he's currently third, and after that performance, unsure where he'll drop to. But I would say that the Ikram Alaskarov fight was a good showcase. That was an opportunity to take out someone who wasn't top 5, someone who was a former champion, right? So I think he had that good opportunity. And at the moment, man, like Caio Bahaio, I feel is putting
Dude,
the work.
Kaya Bahaio.
Yeah. And because for me, I look at the rankings and I would go Strickland and Imavov is kind of where my head would be at for Sean, a kid that's an Imavov on a tear, on a big win streak. For Rob, it'd be weird for him to get that number 1 contender shot following this defeat. To me, with his body of work and career, I wouldn't hate it necessarily, but I think it'd be more effective for the division if Imavov was given that opportunity.
Yeah, Jericho too telling us that Rob dislocated his jaw, dude. It's a tough spot for Deal. Yeah, man, Chimaev won. Not only did he win, he put on an incredible show, man. Just tapped Rob in the first round. Other question, Robert Whittaker, is he is talking about retirement. He was talking about a couple of years. I don't know. Is he in this? Is he in it for the money? I mean, we all need the money. Is he in it for another title shot? I think the Caio Bahaio fight is an amazing fight. Who do you put Israel up against? I was talking to DDP's coach. He said, don't put him up against anyone. We want to fight whoever's do a rematch with Israel in Africa. And I was like, okay. I mean,
who you cut out there? Who did he say rematching Israel?
Dricus's Dricus's coach said they want to do a rematch with Israel in Africa after this next fight the DDP does. I mean, on paper, that makes sense. But who would you put him up against if you had to had one more fight? Because Caio Bahaio, if he's fighting Rob, he was probably my number 1 guy for Israel. Who else do you think would make sense for him?
I think, Caio would work for both of them. If I had to search a little bit deeper down the rankings, this would be a big leap. But Anthony Fluffy Hernandez might be an interesting shout where it's someone that's deep down that has been putting in great performance after great performance. And in Adesanya's case, you're on a 2-fight losing streak and there's a bit of inactivity. I would say, well, not, I guess that was in August, never mind. But, 1-3 in his last 4, I think Adesanya versus a guy in Fluffy Hernandez could be a good opportunity for Fluffy. Could be a good moment for Israel to display, hey, I'm still leaps and bounds better than these cats outside the top 10. And he's already beaten and rematched several guys in the top 5, top 10. So it is hard to find what would make sense for Israel Adesanya.
Mac, telling us no one's beating Chimaev in the middleweight division. He will run over them like a freight train. You know what's interesting? Behind the scenes, whenever I'm in a fight week with the boys, and by the way, Ben, I hope we can have a fight week together sometime. Hopefully, you can come down to
Yeah,
Australia one time, man. That would be great. Show you around. Whenever we
maybe.
would do that, the managers behind the scenes would always tell us, wait till Khamzat becomes the champion or is in the title shot because he will destroy everyone. They used to
Yeah.
say that back when Izzy was champ, man. They used to tell us Khamzat's a real problem. And I would say, really? Like, what about this and that? So behind the scenes, and have you heard that as well, man? Like people have trained with Khamzat, people that have been around him in training rooms.
Yeah.
Everyone has been saying the guy's an absolute animal. Everyone's been saying he's an absolute beast. Like he's better than what we've seen in the octagon even.
That's the reputation. Even Brian Stan, way back in I think 2017, 2016, was highlighting the legend of Khamzat Chimaev, this Swedish wrestler who was just making everybody look amateurish inside those rooms. So he's had this I would say reputation that's preceded him, and a performance like that lives up and exceeds it, I'd say masterfully. But I agree, like the dude has been talked about for so long, and I feel we see this sometimes, and let me know your opinion. But these prospects that come in and then they fizzle out, maybe, or they just don't get to the hype status of how the UFC is marketing and presenting them. I think Khamzat Chimaev has regained a lot of that momentum with that performance.
Dude, I think that's it. I absolutely agree with you, man. I think without performance, and it's the opposite of Ankalaev and Rakic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is what you do. It's like what we were talking
That is
about.
how you. That's how you get a title shot, Ankalaev. That's all you had to do.
I just want to shout out Christian Ciccini. So he's watching along. And for people that don't know, Christian is actually our videographer. He's a part of the Four Horsemen. He just did a great interview with Alex Volkanovski that's on the YouTube channel for Submission Radio. And he's been riding with us for a really long time. And what they don't know about this, Ben, is Christian, man, I mean, he's worked in the game for a really long time. He's one of the best videographers in the game. He's been across all the big events. We've got so many great stories. I hope you can come down so you can meet the guy. He's an absolute legend. Make sure to follow the guy on social media. And yeah, one of the best in the game. A lot of love for Christian. Yeah, dude, I think the elbow before the choke dislocated Whittaker's jaw. Whatever it was, Karen, it was an absolute domination. You know,
Yeah.
and we love Rob. I love Rob here. He's done a lot for the show, and I can't wait to hopefully chat to him after this. But you know, I think Khamzat is the most dangerous he's ever been. Like, remember when we watched him against Gilbert Burns, and we were like, I don't know, like a couple of more rounds for Gilbert Burns, maybe he would have beaten Khamzat. I actually think this middleweight division and this version of Khamzat looks more dangerous than ever now. Like that grappling was incredible, right, Ben? Like
Yeah.
I didn't remember the last time I felt this way about Khamzat.
And to echo that, if you looked at the Kamaru Usman performance, where it was the Nigerian nightmare on 10 days' notice, and he extended Chimaev to the scorecards and was really building as that fight went on. If there were a fourth and fifth rounds, who knows? I mean, maybe Kamaru Usman could have gotten that win. So I think, yeah, for me, it was a reminder of what this guy can do, especially to elite opposition, and the most impressive performance by far. There was nothing that Rob had, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah.
But I do see from Mac there, Bo Nickal's rise, which, you know, I think that he'll match the wrestling. I don't know, man. How do you feel about Bo Nickel? Because, you know, if he's having some trouble with Jamie Pickett and not grappling maybe effectively against some of these lower tier guys, would that really work against a guy like Chimaev? What is Bo Nickel's ceiling?
I just had a coffee dropped off to me by Ash, the side producer / my partner. Thank you very much, Ash. Let me see. Can I find this? Can I find my little guys? Sorry,
Counter?
Yeah, can I find my counter? Where did they all go?
I was
Yeah, man.
expecting
Look,
you to be doubting cups.
I listen. We're on. No. 5, 2, 5, 3. All right, we're on coffee 3 over here as I got to close the comments down. Cheers, everybody. 6 a.m. watch along. Yeah, man. I don't think Bo is. It'll be interesting to see, but I think the problem with Bo is you got 2 great grapplers. I think Bo maybe survives the grappling, but when it comes to the striking and the ferocity that Khamzat brings in there, I just don't know if it's there yet. I'd love to see Bo just get a bit more experience. I know he was talking to Jorge Masvidal on his program and said he wants to get into the rankings. I would just take it slow. What people don't understand is, and you know this better than most because you've been in the ring, like you really have to get that experience before you get to the top. And we've seen so many guys get to the top too early and then they're out of the UFC in a few years. And then a few years later, no one even remembers who they are, right? So
Yeah.
we're going to get to some predictions over here for the main event, but that's what I would say about that. Just quickly, before we go, man, if you just had to sort of put money on it, I just want to go back to Jericho's comment here. Who do you think wins between DDP and Khamzat? If you had to pick it right now on the spot without properly breaking it down, without watching all the footage.
Gun to my head, quick pick. I have bet against Dricus du Plessis far too many times, and I'm going to do it again. Khamzat Chimaev inside the distance. I think that he dethrones Dricus if he gets that opportunity. I'll probably be wrong again.
Yeah, well, dude, it's a good prediction. I still feel like DDP is going to do it. I don't know, but I think it's a pick 'em fight. And now, speaking of my great overlays, I have a special one for this fight. Let me see if I can find it. And Ben, by the way, what time is it over there where you are?
It is currently 1:23 p.m. on the 26th.
Very nice, very nice.
You guys don't celebrate Halloween, do you? Is that
we
is that
do? We do.
You do? Okay,
now.
all right.
Big now. Very big. Why? What do you say? What's your Halloween?
The costume? I have no idea. I haven't. My
that.
girlfriend and I have been chatting, and I've been trying to figure out what we're gonna wear, but haven't had time.
Yeah, we do Halloween down here now. It's not as big as it used to be. Ilia Topuria is walking out, so we're almost into round one. That was just me practicing my graphics. Before we get into it, sexy secret sexy secret minute with Ben Davis. Everybody, brought to you by Manscaped. 20% off with the code word submission. Ben, give us a sexy secret that nobody knows about you.
Sexy secret that nobody knows about me. So I think what is an interesting one that I don't get the chance to talk about too frequently is I actually got a finance degree from Arizona State University.
No way.
Barrett, the Honors College at ASU. I came out with a degree that I don't use. So because I've had some people that think, oh, you probably did broadcast journalism or something within sports. And no, not at all. For 4 years, I was learning about Excel spreadsheets and checks and balances.
Perfect. Well, look, Ben, this is what I was thinking you would tell me. All right. Look, I'm Ben Davis. Hey, everyone, I'm Ben Davis. My sexy secret is I like to murder people and hide them in the forest. Back to you, Dennis. All right, great.
Dennis, I wouldn't tell people that. How they're gonna find the bodies, Dennis?
No, a finance degree, very sexy. I thought you're gonna have a secret room where you used to, Anyway, we'll figure that out after this fight. Guys, make sure to subscribe to Ben. By the way, Ben, what's coming up on your channel, and also, what do you want people to look out for? You opened up some cards the other day. By the way, congratulations on 50,000 followers on X as well.
Thank you, man.
My brother. Yeah.
It's funny. This isn't a sexy secret, but an interesting tidbit. That's actually my third Twitter account. The first two got suspended and banned, so it's been a long journey.
And why were they? Why were they banned, Ben?
The quick spark notes on. I didn't do anything. Okay, so here's what happened.
Look, you're a sick fuck. We all know. Just tell us what happened.
Listen, I was retweeting too much porn, and Elon didn't like that.
We all know that's a lie. He loves that. Yeah, go on.
I basically made this fake fight announcement that me and Chase Hooper were going to be scrapping at a pay-per-view several years back. Chase thought it was funny, and a lot of other people thought it was funny too. But then many individuals thought it was real, and they were like, Chase is going to steamroll this guy. And so there were dozens of replies of people saying that, oh, Hooper's going to break his leg and all this. So I would just reply and repeat back to the person what they said. So if you replied and you were like, Chase is going to rip this kid's head off, I would reply and say, I'm going to rip your head off. And Twitter, instead of seeing the satirical joke, thought that I was threatening dozens of people and promptly pulled the plug on my on my account.
No way. So they cut you.
They cut me. Yeah, that was a permanent ban. I'd never had any suspensions, a 7-day, 30-day suspension before that. It was just right to permanent banning because Twitter thought that I was a sociopathic, violent man.
Dude, that's hilarious, man. And by the way, you do a lot of great skits as well, dude. A lot of great skits on your Twitter. You got a lot of, I love your tweets. And I got to say, man, I think what do you think of MMA journalism in 2024? Because I think that I love what you're doing. I think what you're doing is like really cool. It's fun. But you work hard and you still get the stuff. But there is just some of the accounts out there and some of the versions of media Like, I can't believe some of the fight week stuff I'm seeing these days, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, dude. And the fact that no one
It's-
really gets access anymore. A lot of people had to give up and move on as we see the tail of the tape. What do you think quickly? What's your take on MMA media in 2024?
I'll keep it quick. This could be an hour-long discussion, but I do think it is in a piss-poor state. The people and individuals that get some extreme platforming are either spreading toxicity or just wasting people's time, right? I don't really consider anyone a journalist. A lot of the big names, I do not consider them journalists. They're content creators, they're media members, they're reporters. But to me, a journalist is something entirely different, and it's absent from MMA at the moment.
Do you like to wear hats? I like to wear hats. What color hat do you like to wear anyway? Great to
Whittaker,
see
you didn't bring anyone like Chimaev to this fight week. Do you think you prepped for this? Yes, he probably trained with a lot of people like Chimaev. Like, oh well, whatever.
But you know what?
Okay.
Like at least Nick Cody's a comedian, man. There's some of these people like, do you have a favorite color? What meat do you like to eat? Anyway, all right. So we're getting ready for this, and this is one of the fights of the year, Ben. I'm so happy we can share this together. We're going into round one, everybody. Actually, not yet. Bruce Buffer. By the way, anybody seen Bruce Buffer live knows this. The guy actually stands there in the octagon as the fights go on. No one watches this. Like in between fights, he's like mentally prepping for it. He's like kind of throwing punches. He's looking at his cards. He's doing this whole thing. Then when the guys are coming out, he's like stretching. He's doing this other thing. He's like doing this other thing. I think before, like he used to throw kicks and stuff. And going into this moment, like he's completely warmed up and stuff. But just watching him in between is more interesting than watching him actually do this. Like the guy is an absolute hilarious dude, man. And yeah, I'm happy to see him still in the UFC, still doing it. And
it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, and he keeps getting in better shape. Like it's like wine, dude. As Buffer ages, he just keeps getting better. And I agree. Like he is the full package. It's the warm up. It's the in between rounds. I've seen videos of him like kicking his leg out and bending as if he's about to go do a CrossFit class. And I can listen. I love that because it takes. This is a craft. This is an art. Anything on air, anything broadcast related. If you are not approaching it like an art form or treating it with that severity, I feel like you're doing it a disservice. And I have always felt that Bruce Buffer brings exactly what's necessary and then some to that role. And I just can't. It's tough because like I don't think anyone's gonna be able to do it better.
I got Christian. Agree with Ben's take on journalism 100%. Well, what we'll do later on is we'll do a live chat. We'll really get into it. I think there's a few things we can discuss on that. But again, Ben Davis, make sure to follow one of the good guys in the game. It's refreshing to see someone like you in the industry, man. And I'm proud of you, buddy. You're doing a really good job. All right, so we're waiting for this thing to get started. Found it interesting. Ilia Topuria built a $2 million gym in his house. The guy's apparently rich.
Yeah, where did all this come from? I mean, I suppose, in Madrid, maybe he's had this real estate during the rise of his career. But, dude, he's got the hyperbaric chamber. He's got the customized, mats. The private jet. I mean, the fucking jet had a Topuria logo on the carpet. Like, what?
Is this like Catch Me If You Can? Is this like Leonardo DiCaprio pretending to be a bunch of things that he's not? Like the guy's like on like some national like soccer game that's watched by millions of people. Like he started doing that straight away. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And by the way, if you interview him, he hasn't come on this show because I'm not big enough to speak to him. But if he did come on this show, dude, I see he's like one of the only guys that still gets views when you do interviews. It's one of the other things we can talk about when we talk about MMA media. Hard to get views on interviews these days. You got to really have like over here on Submission Radio, we get some of the best names in the game, but it's still, dude, it's so hard. Without trashing people, it's hard to get views. All right, so
we're in it.
We're in it. And with that comes my beautiful graphic. Round one, everybody. Who remembers this man, the McKenzie team?
I was going to say, I have no idea, sadly, who that gentleman is.
So yeah, give us something in the comments if you know who he is. All right, man. So here we go. Dude, Ilia Topuria coming out here, and he's looking like he wants to throw that bomb down the pipe, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he pointed to the ground. He did exactly what he said. So interesting that he followed up on that. But Holloway showed the matador. I mean, he's not interested. He's here to fight smart, and I think Holloway wins by knockout. I just don't think.
I forgot to get your prediction. Okay, Holloway wins by knockout. I think Ilia Topuria catches him in round 3. Let's see what happens. It could be crazy though, because no one's caught Max before. The other thing that's interesting here is Max has the capacity to just keep Ilia on the outside and picking him apart. I'm imagining we get That's right, Christian Cody McKenzie. I imagine we'll be getting a lot of low leg kicks and him trying to beat up Ilia on the way into that striking range. Hopefully trying to take his legs out and stop him. But I mean,
like
we
the
saw
front kicks.
Yeah, we saw Volkanovski. He's a master at fighting at distance, and he couldn't keep Topuria back. And Max is not able to keep him back just yet.
Look at the
Topuria
jab.
is
And already tags him with the 2.
Topuria has the best box. I think Topuria has the best boxing in MMA right now. Like, look at the way he's able to use. Because don't forget. All right, wow, he's taking him down. He's taking him down, Ben.
What?
He's just taking Max Holloway down.
What time are you at?
I'm at 3:27.
I'm at 32, 30, 29, 28,
21,
27,
20,
26, 25,
19, 18.
24. You have to pause yours. You have to pause yours.
All right, pause.
All right, the 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Are we on the same?
Yes, we're on. All
right, beautiful.
All right.
That was interesting, though.
That was unbelievable. Sorry, as the internet cuts out for a second, so the guys are back up to their feet, but if you're just tuning in right now, Ilia Topuria got a takedown of Max Holloway, and he's mixing up his game. Did you think we would see that, Ben? Did you think?
Not at all.
Whoa. Okay, so now he's threatening with different aspects of the game. That makes things even more interesting for Max.
What I'm very interested in is every time Max tries to paw with the jab or extend that lead hand, you see Topuria wanted to come over the top. He wants to intercept, get his head off the center line, and bring that 2 right into Max's chin. And it's getting close.
God damn. All right, so one of the amazing things about Topuria is look at this boxing as he lands a shot. Dude,
he is not good.
Max is not keeping him out of striking range. He's not keeping him out of the pocket. He is not able. Wow, low leg. Look, did you see that low leg kick from him? God damn.
I really don't like how Holloway is fighting.
Who could box like this, though, in MMA? You know, most guys would get caught with kicks on the way in. Most guys couldn't sustain this. All right, so Max Holloway here. And by the way, Luke Thomas spoke to me this week and said he thinks the weight cut for Max Holloway. Actually, sorry, Dan Hardy said he thinks the weight cut for Max Holloway is going to be not the best for him. He thinks he should be fighting a lightweight. Whether it's the weight cut, whatever it is, Max Holloway is not looking good right here, Ben. He's looking sluggish.
It's a pretty flat first round. He's not making reads effectively. Sequences like that, I think, are very bad for Max Holloway because as this fight goes on, you want to throw combos in the pocket. Ilia is going to touch you.
Yeah. And Christian says, big weight cut, adrenaline, trying to survive in those combinations. Okay, so here comes Max. Landed so he's trying to utilize his kicks here and catch Ilia as he comes into the pocket, which is, you and me kind of alluded to that before the fight. He's going to have to stay long if he wants Ilia to respect his striking. He's going to have to catch Ilia at the end of his jab. As he comes in, he's going to have to catch him at the end of his 2. He's going to have to stay long with his shots, and he's going to keep him out of that pocket. Again, if Ilia gets into that pocket, think of Mike Tyson back in the day. You are done. You are not going to survive the shots. The combination choices that he's throwing are absolutely deadly. And it looks like Max is starting to find a little bit of ground here. Right?
He's having success. Yeah, absolutely. Things are working. Now he's pressuring. And I love that lead head kick that he's throwing because, yes, it's not landing and Topuria is finding the block, but that's how Jai Herbert was able to knock Ilia Topuria down. Taller fighter using...
Oh! He just knocked him down! He's got his back.
Position's a little bit low. I think Holloway can, if he makes the right moves here.
It. Yep.
Was that a knockdown?
Did he knock him down? I think he knocked him down. Let's have a look at this replay before we go. While we wait for the replay, someone called Jamie wants you to shout out Jackie. Yeah. Who's Jackie?
Let's go, Jackie. I have no idea.
Mistress?
No.
Sorry, am I blowing you up here, Ben? And then the mistress messaging ruined me, Ben. See, that's
Jackie.
Where was this for the sexy secret minute, Ben? Where was this for the sex?
They're coming in now.
Pereira is grounded all the time. His feet are always connected, making him predictable. I don't know about that, Podge, man. His feet are grounded, but his footwork is incredible.
I was gonna say he's so balanced. Like Ilia Topuria is never out of position. He's never overextending. Okay, so is this the knockdown? What was that?
We're
Glancing right
having a look
hand.
through the highlights before we go into round 2, guys. Welcome to the Submission Radio Watch Along with Ben Davis. It is no longer 6 a.m. It is 7 a.m. I am on my 4th cup of coffee. It was a slip. I think it was like a
Slip.
push. What's interesting here is, yeah, he went in, tried to get the back. It was a good move here. We're about to go into round 2. Ben, incredible round, though, for Ilia Topuria here.
It was a great first round for the champ. But Holloway started to come on.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the right.
No,
There we
you're
go.
good.
Round 2. We're on.
But I think when Topuria
Wrong
puts
graphic. Sorry, go on. Yeah, go.
when he puts the foot off the gas, that's giving Holloway every opportunity. I mean, if I'm Ilia Topuria, and if he can, energy and stamina wise, just stay in Holloway's face, I don't see how Holloway can really find the adjustments. Again, the right hand right over the top.
Guys, so this is an incredible fight, by the way. Max Holloway is moving backwards, and I think he's in a moment right now where he's like, man, dealing with Ilia is a lot harder than what I thought. We saw him have a little bit of success with some head kicks. We saw him have a little bit of success with a bit of a jab. Right now, though, he looks startled. He looks a little bit startled. He threw a weird Sean Strickland flying kick there.
It's not clear what Holloway's game plan is. You know, I think the leg attacks, the leg kicks are there, but I'm not sure what the defined approach from Holloway is through 5.
All right. I think with Holloway, you got to go to those kicks, right? I feel like those kicks, trying to catch him on the way in are good, but I guess with the wrestling, you're worried about getting caught.
Oh,
man, these combos from Topuria are made to put you out.
You have to be careful. And I think if Holloway's not monitoring the pocket, look at, he's backing up and the chin's just right up in the air. Topuria is landing.
God. This is insane.
Here's an issue I feel with Holloway is he's looking for that check hook. He's looking for that 3 so frequently, either when Topuria is coming in or right after the first connection. But the right hand from Topuria, if he goes for that check hook, Topuria's right hand can just come right over.
Oh!
That was a good moment.
Every time Topuria throws here, it's like if he lands, if it's 1 centimeter in, the fight is over. Like every shot is just absolutely insane. Now, Max is trying to get some distance here. I think he's trying to get a bit of momentum, trying to get a bit of confidence, and trying to catch Ilia a little bit to slow him down.
Oh,
but dudes, yeah, he just caught him. Max looked like he stumbled a little bit. He's got a great chin, but he can't take any more of those shots. Like he can't, a couple more of those, and I think he's done. What's interesting here with dude? Oh, dude, he's just landing. He's just landing that overhand too, like nothing.
And Topuria doesn't
a nice jab, nothing.
Topuria doesn't respect him. I don't think Topuria respects the power
at all. Head kick, nothing. Rolling beautifully with those punches that Max is throwing. So Max is a volume thrower, and oh, dude,
there's some nice head movement.
All right, this is good. So it looks like Holloway's starting to understand he's got to keep him a distance here. By the way, so far, this fight's been great, right, Ben? This has been...
Oh, fantastic. Again, as advertised.
Great fight. Great fight.
All right, 2 minutes left in round 2. Again, now Holloway's having more success. Both guys looking a little busted up. I mean, there's bruising and swelling on each guy's face.
I mean, the big question here is if Holloway does survive this round and starts going to the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th round, is he turning up that activity? Is he going to maximize the fact that he's an experienced 5-round fighter? He's been in deep water before. And is he going to try and steal this out from underneath Topuria? Because you can't throw that kind of power with that kind of volume like Topuria's been doing without getting tired. You know what I mean? And I think for Topuria, he thinks he's going to be getting Holloway out of there now. So it'll be interesting to see what his reaction will be to.
I'm not sure because when Topuria fought Josh Emmett, that was a 5-round fight where Topuria displayed some good stamina and displayed that he can keep that pace up. I think it was like a 50-42 on some scorecards. So if I'm Holloway, yes, I'd up the volume as the fight goes on, but I wouldn't think that he's going to start gassing.
Max Holloway here is kind of pushing forward and trying to keep Ilia back. So he's actually looking pretty good here. I think, I think in between the rounds here, I think Max's corner will talk to him a little bit more about the leg kick selection and the best way to keep Ilia back here.
Ooh, but I like that.
Yeah, he's starting to look decent. Some decent shots through the middle. But look at the way Topuria.
Oh,
look at the head movement from him and the way that he moves with every punch. The slipping.
And again, he's coming right over the top with that right hand. Holloway has got to be more careful.
Yeah, yeah, you think Holloway's going to catch him somehow? I don't know, man. We'll see. What was your prediction, Ben? A Holloway decision win?
I went Holloway by KO. I think he
By
finishes
KO.
Topuria.
When do you think? When do you think that happens?
I'll go round 4 or 5. I think we'll see some sort of a
4 or
late
5.
drop off maybe from Topuria. I know I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but
all right, Topuria giving him the. Dude, you know what's interesting here? Max Holloway finishing the round out at a positive. I think the round 2 definitely goes to Ilia. I think I got round 1 for Ilia too. I saw Kevin Ioli had Max winning the first round, but I think it's 2 rounds for Ilia here. What do you think, Ben?
Second round was closer. I think round 2 was a little bit more even. And again, Holloway was the one leading the dance in that final minute and a half. So I could see some argument for him getting round 2, but I believe first 5 minutes go to Ilia Topuria.
All right, guys. Yeah, vote for Ilia Topuria. Man, the guy is. Look at Max in this corner. He is looking. You reckon? He looks exhausted. Look at him.
It's just natural.
I don't know, man. You don't see Max breathing that heavy. Yeah, that shot, the replay there. Mart says Max only needs 1 shot, and it is there. It's true. Like even though Ilia's getting into the pocket, he's throwing. Max does have the opportunity to counter. We saw what happened with Justin Gaethje. The question is, at this weight class, 145, what kind of power does Max have compared to lightweight? That's also a good question.
That is
the BMF champion.
You know, he did stop Korean Zombie, I think, at 45. But at that moment, you know, Chan Sung Jung wasn't exactly on the same playing field in his prime or as good as Topuria. So I agree. I'm not sure whether or not the power carries, but it is interesting that the conversation's changed. I feel for a long time, people thought that Holloway was this volume guy, and he was. But now people are talking about the one-shot KO.
He's a dangerous man. He's a bad boy. Yeah, he's a bad boy. That's what that B stands for. Bad boy MF. All right, so here we go. Ilia Topuria is coming in, man. Did you see that body shot? Unbelievable body shot. And Max returns with a body shot. This third round, man, I think Max's team realizes they got to get things going. They got to try and get a bit of momentum. They got to try and win these rounds. You've got potentially 1-1 here, Ben, but maybe 2-0 for Ilia. So this is a pivotal round here for Max. He's got to get something going here.
And I think he's got to recognize that when he's pressuring, he's the one that is succeeding, right? When Ilia is on the back foot, there's a completely different fight that's occurring. But when Topuria is the one leading the dance, he just doesn't have the answers.
What about these kicks from him, these push kicks to the knee? We've seen John Jones utilize them, but couple from Max. He's trying to take Ilia's legs out a little bit from underneath him so he doesn't have that same base.
Oh, he's hurt.
Dude, Max is hanging in there. What was that shot?
God.
I missed it. What happened, Ben? Take us through.
I think it was a right hand. I think Holloway's still stunned. Oh, no!
Holloway. Holloway's down. Holloway's down. It's over. Round 3. Ilia gets it done. My prediction. My prediction. It's all good. Oh, my dude. Ilia Topuria has just put out Max Holloway. If you're tuning in right now, Ben Davis, done. Oh, crap.
Wow.
Ben Davis. Ilia Topuria just puts out. He just put out Max Holloway. Dude,
and violently dropped him and stopped him. Fuck. That was vicious. Who beats him? Who beats him at 45?
This is unbelievable. So if you're tuning in right now, guys, it's happened. Ilia Topuria put out Max Holloway, round 3, KO, and has just done something that's never been done before. Dude, like, what are you feeling right now, Ben? What's going through your head? This is unbelievable, man. How could this happen?
I'm in pain.
Is this real life? What's happening
right now, Dennis? I could not think that coming into 2024, we'd see Holloway get dropped and stopped in that manner. And he's celebrating with Steve Harvey.
He just tried to kiss Steve Harvey. He just tried to kiss Steve Harvey. This man
wants 2 finishes in one night. No, I mean, ridiculous. Ilia Topuria is on another level. You know, we joked about how is he such a superstar? How does he have these riches and whatnot? But when you produce results like that against people like Max Holloway, I mean, the superstardom's justified.
And Max Holloway there. I mean, you got to give it to Max, man. He's always looking to fight the best of the best here. And that's what he did against Ilia Topuria. Luke Thomas said it best on our chat. If Max could get this done, it's one of the most miraculous title reclaimings in MMA history.
Mm-hmm.
And he just couldn't get it done because I think, all right, how's this question for you, Ben? I want you to answer this right here on the spot. Big question. Is Ilia Topuria the most explosive knockout artist in featherweight history? We've had Conor McGregor do it. He was one of the best. Is he better than Conor McGregor here in his prime?
Man, that is such a loaded question. You know that's a loaded question.
Oh, it's loaded, baby.
I think that when you look at the reactions, when he connects on people's faces, they become distorted. They are experiencing a seismic reaction. And you just don't see that at 145 from most people, right? When Topuria is landing, we see heavyweight type power. And he's had this type of success against Jai Herbert, flatlined him. Bryce Mitchell clubbed him and subbed him. You know, you look at Volkanovski, that was a perfect intercepting right hook, and Volk was done. I don't know if I can answer truthfully this comparison of prime Conor KOs versus what Topuria is doing, but I mean, goddamn, that kid's powerful.
Paul Felder jumping off his chair there. DC,
Wow.
not there's the lean back. Look at that. The team celebrating.
Wow.
Okay, so here's the question here. What do you do with Ilia next, man? It's got to be this Volk rematch, don't you think? Like, I want to see Volk at 100% against him. What do you think happens next with Ilia?
You know, I think with Diego Lopez weighing in as the backup, if they wanted to go that route, I wouldn't necessarily be too mad at it.
There's Volk
there's
Diego.
Yeah, Volk's in an interesting position. I think that if they did the rematch with Topuria, why not? But I mean, truthfully, there aren't many. I mean, Yair Rodriguez, I don't think is in a position to deserve a shot. Evloev, no chance. I feel Diego Lopez would be the next step for Ilia Topuria. I kind of want to see Volk get some sort of a bounce back. If I was Volk, I would have taken the Evloev fight. I think Volk walks through Mavzar. And that would have, to me, been like the cementing of another title shot. Because with Volk's attempts at 155, to me, it's hard to justify, okay, let's roll him right back into an immediate title shot against Ilia Topuria.
Look, I wouldn't hate a Volk Diego Lopez interim title fight in Feb. The only thing is, can you have an interim title fight when you got an active champion? You know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of these weird titles just being introduced. As DC goes over to Ilia, let's see what he says. First person knocking Max Holloway out. How does it feel? He's asking him. He's thanking God. Of course. Thanks, God. Thanks for being here for the stream, God. He's stunned. We're stunned. We're all stunned. Even he's stunned. He's talking about how much respect he has for Max. I love the respect here from KHAMZAT and Ilia, by the way.
Yeah.
Kind of a passing of the torch for two ways.
And that's how I think you got to play that card, right? In the build-up, be intense, be fiery, but be gracious in the victory.
Yep.
Wow.
God. They're having a look at this crazy replay, and I think this has to be the stoppage of the year here. Look at this.
Wow. Look at his eyes. Look at where Max's eyes were.
And we've never seen Max like that, and he's been in there. Look at that. Wow. He was out as he was coming down, Ben. Like, he's out there. He has no idea what's going on. Look at his face.
Wow.
So his brother told him to keep putting pressure on him. Great advice there from the corner.
That's the read. I mean, that was the read. Whenever he was leading the dance, man, he was punishing Holloway. So, you know,
he was sure in his skill set. He kept going.
Yeah. Wow.
So we got Volko there. He told Christian actually in Sydney that he wants to get into the octagon right now. Let's see if it happens. There he is.
Oh, he's there.
He is, yeah. He doesn't want to fight with anyone? Okay, he's going to do it again with Volko. Okay.
There you go.
But it's not going to happen. There's no way that happens in Sydney, though. Do you think? 312? No, probably not.
No, I don't think that he could.
He's not going to Sydney for that.
Turn around. To me, it's got to be in Spain. You got to put this at the Barnaboo. You got to pack 85,000.
Hey, man, you fought in Spain. You know better than most.
Well, I guess, yeah. Well, if I'm Volk, then I'd say, hey, don't go to Spain. It won't go that well for you, dude.
Come on.
No, but yeah, I think for Ilia, fighting in Madrid would make so much sense. I was almost surprised that this wasn't scouted for a UFC Spain, because it would be, again, he's massive. Like, I don't think, at least in the States, I'm unsure if Australia is the same way, but I don't know if we have the comprehension of how big this fucking guy is. Like you mentioned, he's getting these individual moments in huge football matches. He's got random people that I don't know, but I suppose are bigger than the UFC combined, coming to his ceremonial weigh-ins there for him. But all right, we got Max here.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Said something about a shot was more than what he thought he would. Okay, here we go. How did it feel? Max said he was feeling good until it happens. That's how most people feel.
Yeah.
Classy, Max Holloway here, no excuses. I'm not a big fan of people getting interviewed after a knockdown like that. Max wasn't 100% there. He was slurring his words. And
what are we doing? What are we doing?
But you can't. I reckon you got to protect guys like Max Holloway. He's the BMF champion. He's someone that's been in the UFC for a really long time. And I think if I'm the UFC here, I go, Max was just laying there unconscious. Let's just let him. Let's just leave it. Like, he doesn't need to speak right now. Let's address this a little later. He spoke about having the best camp. It does address the fact of what happens in the future with Max. How does he recover? Like, he just got smashed really, really badly. I'd like to see him. What do you think is next for Max Holloway? Obviously, he's got that BMF belt. There is a world where Max and Volk could fight again for the BMF belt, or Max could go into the lightweight division, do this whole BMF thing, tournament, or him and Dan Hooker for the BMF belt, whatever. But at the same time, I want to see the guy take a little break, man. I want to see him. I want to see him recover.
After a result like that, you have to take time off. I would suggest 4 to 5 months of really nothing too intense or extreme. Because like you mentioned, Holloway I think the stat is he's absorbed the most strikes in UFC history. Now, he has also landed the most strikes in UFC history, but there's been this ongoing narrative that he is getting early onset CTE. And I remember people talking about his vocal inflections for years, saying that he's taken too much damage. And I don't know how much faith or water I put in that bucket, but when I think about what's next, yes, time off and back to 155 would be my opinion.
No more weight cuts. I think that's enough with featherweight. Let's just get back to lightweight. Question here from Kran. Mosa, how much of a chance do you think he has against Topuria? I mean, this is the thing. Mosa, he's a good fighter, but I just think Topuria's grappling ability, we just saw it, man. Like, he just took Max. Like, obviously Max Holloway's not a wrestler, but he's a great grappler himself. He took Max Holloway down. He's a well-rounded fighter. I think people forget that Topuria brings it all. As much as tough as Mosa is, I don't think he could get it done against Topuria.
I don't think that he would have any success against Ilia Topuria. I think 0.1% is being maybe a little generous even. No, I think he'd do fine, but I see him getting finished far quicker than Max Holloway. There's just no threat on the feet with Mobzar. It's been a big absent weapon from his arsenal is his striking. And yeah, the grappling is all well and good and it's fine, but like, for instance, Aljamain Sterling and him were supposed to fight, 3 weeks ago? I favored Aljo in that. I thought Sterling was going to out-grapple him and take the decision. So to me, it's wild that he's found himself top 5 UFC featherweight in the UFC.
That's right.
Props to him. But I just don't think that he has a complete skill set. And a guy like Ilia, I agree, would club him to death.
We got Mark Fellas asking who was the fighter of the year, and he's saying Paitano or Topuria. Man, it's interesting. For me, I don't know. I
Mhm.
still think I just think it's Alex because he's saved that many cards. Like he's one of those like, let me just come out of nowhere, fight injured, save a card, guys. I think that's special, and that's what makes him fighter of the year. I mean, look at UFC 300. You get that other, the fight card with Khalil. Look at the battle that those guys had. I still think Alex edges it out, but the year is still young, my friend, Mark. So
I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know.
hey, Alex could do it again. I heard him talking about wanting to hop on the December pay-per-view. I don't know. It's interesting because how can you not award Fighter of the Year to a guy that finished Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway in the same calendar stretch? Like, that is bananas. And I would say those two wins are of a higher caliber than Alex Pereira's wins. No offense to Jamal Hill or Khalil or Yuri, who are all fantastic fighters. But when I think of who would be more pound for pound skilled, those two guys at featherweight that Ilia Topuria stopped are cut from a little higher edge. But I agree. I think Alex, getting fight of the year, I wouldn't hate that. Can we give it to both of them? Can we just give it to both of them?
Give it to both of them. Just hand it out. All right. As we wrap up, Ben, quick question for me, man.
Yeah.
155 for Ilia Topuria. He wants Islam down the track. I mean, he's looked incredible at featherweight. I think it's still a couple of fights away. If he can defend it a couple of times, maybe you give him that shot. But if he had to sort of predict how an Islam Ilia fight goes, it's interesting because it's like, Armin's obviously going to be a difficult challenge for Islam. He's going
Yeah.
to have to beat him again. You got, guys like Dan Hooker and other really good fighters in the division. I still think, though, Ilia is one of those guys that could probably at least have a little bit of success against Islam before it's all said and done.
I agree. I think that stylistically he matches up decently. I mean, we haven't seen him against a bigger, stronger grappler. So I think Islam has a couple edges there, but when it comes to striking and the precision of Ilia Topuria, I'd say he's a level above Islam Makhachev. And that result that just happened to Max Holloway could happen to Islam if he's not careful. I think that Islam entertained a lot of people with his win over Dustin Poirier, but took a lot of risk in that fight. And there were so where I think he made that fight harder for himself. So it's a good question. But for me, what's next for Ilia Topuria? Stay at featherweight, dominate featherweight, run laps like, the guys that came before you did, Volk, Aldo, Holloway himself even, right? I don't think there's a rush to get up to lightweight. He's still 27. I mean, shit, he's so young that I'd say spend the next 2 years defending the throne. And if there's an opportunity to go up to 155, then sure. But why rush it? This was his first title defense. I think that we've got to keep him there at featherweight and let 155 develop.
All right, man. As we wrap up, everybody out there, make sure to follow Ben. So what people need to check out? Bane
Yeah.
Davis, killing it as always. What's coming up? What's coming up, my man?
Yeah, so I've had a little bit of time off since the BKFC fight, which was nice and well earned, I would say. I haven't really taken many breaks this year, but November, back at it. I've got 2 APFC shows on UFC Fight Pass that I'm doing play-by-play commentary for, and then end of the month, I'll be in Qatar doing X Series 20. So the Misfits and DAZN X Series, big boxing, a lot of crossover names. So make sure you tune into those. That'll be live on DAZN.
All right, man. Absolutely killing it. Guys, this has been our 6 a.m. watch along. It's now 8 a.m. Ben Davis, man, thank you so much for joining me. I think we might have to do this a little bit more often. It's just
I
too
agree.
much damn fun. You're an absolute legend. Guys, make sure to subscribe to Ben's channel. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And look out, we are about to start our post show with Laura Sanko as well. A lot of questions there too. Ben, thank you so much for joining me once again, man, and have a great Saturday night.